Welcome everyone to another deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today we've got our usual stack of sources, articles, some research notes, and we're really zeroing in on the key headlines from June 25th, 2025.
That's right.
And the mission, like always, is to pull out those, surprising facts, the crucial bits, to get you informed quickly without drowning you in information.
Exactly. Connecting the dots, giving you the context, and really thinking about why this stuff actually matters to you. It's about sparking some critical thought on, how today's events fit into the bigger picture.
Okay, let's dive right in then. First up, those geopolitical ripples, specifically the aftermath of the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites.
Right.
What really jumped out at me was this piece of intelligence we heard talk of obliteration. But newer reports are saying the strikes only set back Iran's capabilities by maybe a few months. That feels like a pretty big difference, doesn't it?
It really does. And look, the truth might be somewhere in between. But the key thing is what this intelligence suggests, It shifts the whole strategic calculation.
How so?
Well, it implies maybe past actions weren't quite as decisive as claimed. That could potentially make adversaries bolder and maybe forces a different kind of diplomatic approach going forward, maybe one that's more direct, even if less preferred initially.
Makes sense. And these ripples, they definitely hit the economy. The energy markets today were, pretty volatile.
Yeah.
Oil prices took a quick dip after that Israel-Iran ceasefire was announced, but then almost straight away they shot back up.
Right. And that quick rebound tells you something important. It shows that even a, temporary ceasefire doesn't just erase those deep worries about supply.
So it's more than just the immediate news.
Absolutely. The market's still weighing up some serious risks. Plus, everyone's got an eye on the upcoming EIA inventory report. That's the Energy Information Administration's weekly stock check. That often causes waves.
And for listeners, what does this mean practically?
Well, for your wallet, probably means don't bank on cheaper cash just yet. And keep an eye on how these energy costs might push up prices for other everyday things too, inflation.
Okay, so that's the international picture, the markets. How's this playing out at home with the public? There's a new Reuters Ipsos poll.
Ah, yes, I saw that.
It paints quite a picture. A huge number, 79% of Americans fear Iran might retaliate. And many are worried that U.S. civilians could even be targets.
That's a significant majority.
Yeah. And just reporting the poll's findings here, President Trump's approval rating dipped to 41% in this context.
And that public fear, that 79%, it's not just a statistic, is it? It directly feeds into, talks about domestic security, shapes the whole national conversation.
Right.
It shows this collective anxiety that policymakers really have to grapple with. It influences everything, from travel advice down to defense spending priorities.
Okay, let's pivot now from the global stage. Bring it closer to home. Domestic issues, infrastructure, digital security.
Always relevant.
Today, the Senate Commerce Committee is voting on President Trump's nominee for the FAA chief. That's Brian Bedford, the CEO of Republic Airways. And the big issues he'd be walking into are pretty stark, aren't they? Ongoing air traffic controller shortages and, critically, that aging system infrastructure.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And it raises the big question, what might actually change with new leadership? Bedford comes from the airline side, right? Yeah. So you might see a more sort of pragmatic, maybe bottom-up approach to updating the FAA's older systems. We could potentially see shifts in holding Boeing more accountable, maybe even lifting those production caps they've faced after recent safety issues. And of course, overhauling safety protocols. It's a big job.
Definitely a lot on the plate there. And finally, shifting to digital security, Columbia University had a major IT outage today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, campus-wide disruption, triggered a security alert, law enforcement got involved.
Yeah.
Seemed quite serious.
Wow. The key detail, though, usually in these cases, did they confirm any data breach?
They said no data breach is confirmed yet, so still developing perhaps.
Okay, well, that's crucial. But even without a breach yet, an incident like this at a major university, it's a real wake-up call, isn't it?
How so?
It just highlights how vulnerable our digital systems are, even the ones we think are robust. It's a reminder for all of us, really. Think about cybersecurity. From your personal cloud storage right down to your smart thermostat at home.
True. Okay, what a range we've covered today.
Yeah.
From, U.S.-Iran intelligence shifts and shaky oil markets to FAA leadership challenges and university cyber alerts.
It really shows how interconnected everything is. Maybe that's the final thought to leave you with today.
Go on.
Just consider how these different headlines, seemingly separate events, might actually link together. Is there an underlying theme? maybe uncertainty or adaptation? How does that thread influence your perspective as you look towards what's coming next?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for breaking that all down.
My pleasure. Until next time.
Join us next time for another deep dive.